Hey everyone, welcome to 996 The Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. Congratulations to the Coyotes, 5 straight wins in a row. They couldn't make it 6 and they couldn't make it a 5-0 homestand, which I don't think's ever happened since I've been a Coyotes fan. But 5 games in a row, that's a great effort by the Arizona Coyotes. It probably should have ended Friday against Carolina, where they got manhandled that game. They led in 51 shots on Ranta, but after a 3-0 lead that they built, they managed to make it to overtime, and Clayton Keller with an absolute beauty of a pass to Grabner. And they won 4-3 in overtime. Ranta obviously stole that game for the Coyotes. But, he's got to do that sometimes. We gave him a night off against Tampa and Ottawa, where the offense was clicking and on fire. He didn't have to work as much. So, once in a while, Ranta needs to, win a game for the boys. And he did. Fast forward to last night, Monday night, against Philadelphia, where they played a much better game than against Carolina. But, what a fluky game. A lot of gratuitous bounces going Philadelphia's way. I felt the Coyotes played a great 60-minute game, great effort, great speed throughout the whole game. They went down in the hole early, going down 2-0. A couple bad penalties by the Coyotes. They should probably be more disciplined. They don't really take too many penalties, but that game, especially in the first period, I think they took 2 or 3. They had a 5-on-3 penalty kill they had to kill, but their first goal by Philly, a screen shot from the point, and then the second goal hits off Stepan's stick and goes in. The third goal was the worst. Grabner crashes in with Kemper and leaves a yawning cage for Philadelphia. So it was unfortunate bounces. It was pretty much a 3-1 game for the most part, and the Coyotes had their chances. They had a lot of power plays, but once again, the power play couldn't get the momentum. They got the first goal on their first power play with Galchenyuk with a beauty of a snipe. But other than that, their other 3 power plays, they couldn't generate much and couldn't carry that momentum into the game. The main problem was Philadelphia wasn't letting the Coyotes get in deep to Pickard. They were protecting the house area that Tyson Nash always likes to talk about. But most of the shots for the Coyotes were from the point or from outside, the presence, the area in front of the net. I thought the only players that really got into the goalie were Perlini and Fisher. Fisher on the power play with that screen on Galchenyuk's shot. And then Perlini was around the net the whole game. I thought Perlini and Strome had very strong games. Unfortunately, they couldn't produce. But I like Strome and Perlini together. Perlini was in front of the net. I never see him in front of the net that often. Strome, yeah, like I said, Strome is good, but the Coyotes couldn't penetrate in front of the net, and the Philadelphia Flyers kept them to the outside, and that was the whole game. Philly stuck to a sticky road game, very disciplined, very tight, and the Coyotes were pushing, and they couldn't generate much. Philadelphia, the other way, they couldn't get much going either. They just capitalized on chances or opportunistic, like I said, fluky goals. They didn't have much zone time unless it was a power play or delayed penalty. Other than that, the Coyotes played a strong game all around. Just a fluky game, and it was just a frustrating game to watch. It just kind of made you upset. The Coyotes were playing well. They weren't playing bad, but the score was just digging at you the whole time. down 2 goals, and they weren't getting high quality chances that you wanted the Coyotes to get. And they lose 5-2. An empty netter by Philly made it 5-2. But, looking at this homestand, a lot of good things against a variation of teams, speedy teams and weak teams coming in. They took advantage of the teams coming in tired. They took advantage of weak teams in Ottawa. And they held it together against teams like Carolina when they probably shouldn't have won that game. They managed to hold on, build a lead, and bring it to overtime, which they probably need to do on the road trip coming up. They got a lot of strong teams in Washington and Pittsburgh. They got a rematch against Philadelphia Thursday, and then Detroit. Detroit should be the winnable game, but the other 3 games they gotta put their work boots on and not take a night off, because these are teams that could pounce on you and make you drown in their offense. So Coyotes gotta maintain their game plan, get back to it, make sure they don't get on a losing streak. That's the most important part here. They managed to string together 5 wins in a row. They should only lose 1 game. They shouldn't make it 2 or 3, because once that happens, you start to follow the playoff picture, and that's not a recipe for success. They got a lot of games in hand against teams in front of them, like Chicago and Anaheim. They got 3 games in hand, I'm pretty sure. San Jose, they got a game in hand. So they got to get points in most of these games on the road coming up and just keep sticking to their plan. Chicago is falling. They just fired their coach. So hopefully they struggle a bit and Coyotes could leapfrog them. But yeah, Coyotes need points. They need wins. The worst part about this homestand is that all the other teams in Pacific were winning as well. So they didn't make up much ground. There's still 3 points. 3 points out of a playoff spot. So it's a tricky spot for the Coyotes. They just got to keep going, keep playing their game, and hopefully things turn around. I know it's only 1 game they lose, but man, it's a tight race. If that loss becomes 2 or 3, like I said, Coyotes could be back at the bottom. So work boots back on. Big road trip, a lot of competitive teams, maybe a measuring stick for the Coyotes. And maybe it shows the players how they have to play every game. Facing strong teams, strong competition, players usually step up, and they want to show that they belong in the league. So let's get going here. Hopefully Jacob Chikrin comes back on this road trip, which I'm sure he will, and that'll be good news as well for the Coyotes. That's it for me. Thanks for watching, and thank you for your support.